Hey, everybody, it's Jonah Lupton back again with another episode of the Startup Sense podcast. Thanks for listening today. Another great show. On the phone, we have Jake Colvin. He is one of the co founders of a company called Owlet. They make a baby monitor sock that is able to measure the oxygen and heart rate levels of infants. So they're doing some pretty cool stuff. They actually just got a $1.5 million grant. So we're going to talk about all that in a second. I want to welcome Jake to the show. Jake, how are you?
Great. It's great to be here with you. Thank you for having us.
You're very welcome, man. Thanks for taking some time. So before we talk about the company, just tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm found myself in entrepreneurship, but for a while thought I was kind of academically schizophrenic. Switched majors a lot, played around a lot of different areas, and found my home in entrepreneurship. And with starting Owlet, a dad of 3 kids, we just had our third child about a month ago. So right now in the throes of everything we are working with our customers on.
Sweet. Yeah, so you got some good data to pull from, I guess.
Yeah.
So talk to us about Owlet. What does the company do?
So what we've really done is created an infant health platform to empower parents and pediatricians to care for their little ones by providing them the right information at the right time. And that's done through a combination of what you mentioned, a hardware, a little smart sock that can monitor a baby's heart rate and oxygen levels and provide parents about information about the child's wellness, as well as a lot of big data we're collecting around that, where we're working with researchers like that National Institutes Health Grant to provide infant health data that's never been seen before on this scale.
How big of a market is this? I mean, I'm sure I could probably Google how many infants are born every day, but it's probably quicker to ask you. So, I mean, how big is this?
So in the U.S. alone, we have over 4 million babies born every year. If you add in Europe, there's an additional 5 million babies born in Europe throughout all the EU. And then worldwide, we're looking at much, much greater numbers. But for the U.S. and Canada, where we are right now, it's a great market to be in.
Interesting. And I mean, I think with babies and pets, I'm not sure there's 2 things that people care more about in their lives than those 2 things. And unfortunately, babies and pets can't really talk to us and tell us when things aren't right with themselves. So
that is absolutely right. Yeah.
So talk to us about when did you guys decide to start pursuing this idea? Now it looks like there's you and 3 other co-founders.
Yeah, we had 5 of us co-founders started the company, and there are 4 of us that are still with the company as it's growing. All of us, I think, have switched roles at this point from kind of what we started doing, other than our CEO. So we started this kind of a university project. We had a year-long experimental program where they taught us how to innovate within our own careers and gave us a little bit of funding and said, hey, we want you to start companies after all the things we teach you about lean startup, about really validating your ideas before you go out and spend on building them. And then you're graded or judged on, can you get investment in the real world? Do people actually care about what you're doing? And so we started in that arena, and it was a wonderful stepping stone. And January 2013 went ahead and formed the company with just the 4 or 5 of us and an angel investor, and then started adding in engineers and growing the company. Today, we are around 100 employees.
Wow. All the employees out in Utah?
For the most part, yes. We have had some remote people that we work with. One of our copywriters is back east and some others. But yeah, almost all local.
Now, did you guys go through an accelerator or an incubator or anything?
Did.
I mean, okay. Which accelerator did you guys go through?
So we actually started with a BYU program. BYU is Brigham Young University. That was the university that we started out of. And they had some competition series that we went through throughout the year that let us do an incubator space. But then after that, we spent close to a year just going through business plan competitions across the country and doing very well in them. And that's how we funded ourselves. And so we felt like we were in a pretty good place when Techstars approached us and said, hey, we've got a new program formed that's Internet of Things. It'll be out here in New York City with the partnering company RGA, great digital marketing firm that does a lot in the Internet connected space. And they wanted us out there. And so we did our research, talked to a number of companies, and felt like it was worth the investment. And it's definitely paid itself over multiple times. But we moved the whole company. At that time, I think there was around 8 of us with our families, moved out to New York City, middle of winter, lived out there for a couple months, lived in Queens, lived in Harlem for a little while, lived up on the Upper East Side of Manhattan for a little while with some of the people, and a couple of the founders had their first kids out there, so their wives were in their final trimesters, and just made it a party, and then came back and set up shop down here in Utah.
Sweet. What kind of traction did you guys have before you went into Techstars? Did you guys have a product or a prototype, or was this still an idea phase?
So at that point, we had done our own crowdfunding. At the time, there was a couple rules that prevented us from doing things like Kickstarter, so we went ahead and set up a mimic site on our own website, did our own crowdfunding, did $300,000 to upper $400,000 in that over that month and a half, and did very, very well with it.
That's a huge number. How did you guys promote it at that point, or what was kind of the marketing strategy for getting people to the website and then getting them to donate?
That was the fun side of things. We really had no idea, and so we went ahead and one of our guys, one of the founders, Jordan Monroe, he had this great idea. Hey, what if we look up and really research who are all the people in the tech space that are writing about stuff like this, through all the different tech articles and online articles, and then let's fly half the founders out to New York City, half the founders out to San Francisco. We'll have a headhunter list, and let's basically do anything we can to get in their offices, sit down with the editors, have them write about us.
Sweet.
That's what we did.
That's a good idea. That's a nice.
Yeah. We spent a lot of time trying to get in some places. Didn't have a lot of success in some places, but were able to get in and get some articles written and some news stories published. And this was right on the heels of Nest being acquired. And so a lot of people were already starting to look at, hey, what is this Internet of Things space? What's in it? And so it just worked out really nicely to get a lot of publicity that way. We reached out to a number of mommy bloggers and actually found a lot of success with them as well, directing people to their sites and to us. And just, it was all self-promotion.
Hey, it worked though, man. I mean, that's kudos, because there's a lot of startups out there that try to raise money. I don't think most of them set up their own website. They try to go to Kickstarter or Indiegogo, but the majority of them don't even raise anything close to $300,000 or $400,000. So now, were people donating or kind of pre-ordering the product?
A little bit of both. I mean, we had a couple different levels where they could donate. We'd give them, T-shirts or other things like that. But for the most part, it was pre-ordering the product.
Okay. And this was, what year was this?
This was towards the end of 2013.
Okay, so that was right before Techstars?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys go into Techstars, you spend 3 or 4 months in there, you do their demo day, and then you guys start raising some serious money, right?
Yeah. We came out of Techstars and were able to raise a $1.85 billion seed round. We left it open, convertible notes, and got a number of other people that just had the interest to come in, to where we ended up with, I think, around 2.3 million. Built the company up very, very well with that, and then had our Series A that was 6 or 7 million. Right at the same time, had our National Institutes of Health grant. Just had another round around 15 million that we just closed recently, and just onward and upward. Opened up sales a year ago. That's been doing a lot for us as well, obviously. But
so you guys have been very successful raising money, which is important because it keeps the company going. But you've obviously hit the right milestones or metrics to get these investors on board. So what are some of the metrics that you look at most often on a daily or weekly or monthly basis to make sure the company's growing?
We look at our sales numbers, seeing how many units we're selling, how many people have the unit actively online or are using it. We look at returns, make sure we're not, having any sort of flaws or issues, and where that's sitting, and keep track of that. For our sales, we've been really excited. We had forecasted out to do what we did this last year alone. It was supposed to be over 3 or 4 years, and so we ended up doing about a $20 million run rate this last year. Really blown it out of the water there. And so I think it really is a testament to the quality of the product and the quality of our marketing and our outreach and our PR team, just because parents want something in this space. They desperately want something in this space. And we took the time to hold off and to not launch and sell immediately after our crowdfunding. We took a good amount of time to actually refine the product, go through and test it for tens of thousands of hours with parents, and really make it something where we felt like we could stand behind this as parents ourselves. And that just speaks to itself. And so it's just taken off and done really well.
This is Jonah Lupton, founder of the Lupton Group and host of the Startup Sense podcast. Are you struggling to find the right tech team to build your company's website or mobile app? Maybe you've developed a product but need help with your go-to-market strategy, including branding and marketing. Well, stop worrying, because my team at the Lupton Group can assist you with all of those needs. We specialize in helping entrepreneurs and startups of all sizes launch and grow their businesses. For a free consultation, you can email me at jonahlupton@gmail.com or visit our website at luptongroup.co. What does the testing look like? I mean, you guys had to develop kind of the hardware, the software, the mobile app. I mean, there's a lot that went into this. And then after you get all that, what do you have to do for testing? I mean, do you do like pilot programs in people's houses? Do you take it into a lab? What did it look like?
All of the above. So we followed a design thinking strategy where we're doing rapid prototyping and iterating on that and getting feedback from the consumer, and then iterating on that and getting feedback from the consumer, and spent 2 years, honestly, doing that. And for a lot of that, I actually was setting that up, and I was just in homes with parents, whether it was just with a piece of foam that looked like the shape of what our base station might be, the little relay unit, and getting parents an idea, like, how would you use this in your home? Where would you put it? And seeing how they would use it, where they'd walk around and set it. So that gave us constraints for, okay, can it be battery operated? Can it stay plugged in? What is the range it needs to have? And then we, test the next portion of it and the next portion of it. And a lot of cheap, inexpensive, just dummy units that we could use for, how does this fit on your child? Is it comfortable? Would you put this on your child? How would you use it? Same thing with the app. Initially, our app was PowerPoint screenshots that looked like an app, just to get feedback from parents on, what do you think about this? And then we did some wireframing after that, got feedback on that. And so for every aspect of it, so there's the sock itself, that's the fabric sock. Then there's the sock electronics that are flexible electronics that can be removed, so you have multiple sizes of sock. You have a base station that the sock talks to through Bluetooth, and the base station connects us to our cloud-based servers. And then there's the mobile app that connects to the cloud-based servers. And so all those aspects individually, as well as in conjunction through individual testing. We ran several rounds of beta testing and alpha testing with larger groups of parents for different aspects. We actually just finished right now, and we're still doing that. We just finished a 500-person beta test for some changes and some updates we're looking at, as well as we did some in-lab testing for accuracy to see what we measured against with hospital monitors, things like that. And we've really tried to take every aspect of it, because we came from the standpoint and understanding of, we want to build something that parents will want and use and buy, will know that they need this prior to actually putting the money into building it. And so that's one of the big milestones that can get us ahead with our investors and others, is we took the time to show, look, parents want this. Parents are already paying for it. They're dedicated to the idea. We've got all these groups that are being created on their own just to help facilitate it getting out to parents that we have nothing to do with. And so, that's a milestone for us. Show that we can do it, and then we can get the money to actually build it, and then we can show how successful that built product is, and then how it's ramping up, and get more money to continue with ramping our manufacturing in all of our facilities.
Now, obviously there's so many engineering problems, or not problems, but there's a lot of engineering that went into all of this. So hiring the right people to execute on the strategy is critical. Now, how did you find the right engineers to join the team?
Early on, again, coming out of that just lean startup mentality, let's see what we can get for as little as possible and go as far as we can with the funds we have. We worked with the universities, and we worked with our university and other universities in the area, and we said, hey, went to professors and said, who are your best engineers? Who are your best students? And then we got the university permission to give them official internships where they got credit for their majors. And those that really did well and really liked the entrepreneurship type setting, they stayed on, and they had other contacts. And so we slowly grew to where for most of the several years we've been around, we've been over half engineers. It's only really been in the last year that we've grown out the other side of the company with support and with marketing, with sales, with our operations, because we didn't really have a need for that prior.
Right,
rather
of
than
course.
small skeleton teams. Yeah.
Right. Until you start shipping, you don't really need to do much marketing.
But once we got it off the ground to where it's done as well as it has done and gotten as much press as it's gotten, it's been much easier finding good talent and being able to get good talent. We have great recruiters that work with us internally that are on our team in our HR, and they really do a good job of finding the right talent, and people are excited about this. I think that's one of the key things is everyone that's working for the company, they see the value of this. They see, hey, this is something that's life-changing, and we can save lives. We can make a difference here. We want to do this kind of work. This is exciting to be able to make a difference in the world.
Talk to us. I mean, Utah is kind of an up-and-coming startup hub that most people probably aren't too familiar with. So, I mean, I know you guys are in Lehigh, and then you have Provo and Salt Lake City. So just, take a minute to kind of tell us what's going on out there.
Yeah. And so we started down in Provo. Provo is one of the first names you'll hear when they start talking about the Silicon Slopes, they call it, or this area in Utah. We've got a number of great universities that are focusing a lot on entrepreneurship, focusing a lot on innovation, and focusing on students, just like the program we went through, where they gave us all the support we could get, but the university didn't actually end up owning any of the IP. That was one of the things they put in place was we owned the IP as students coming out of it. And so those kind of programs really facilitate students starting a company, getting off the ground, and being able to take it to the next level rather than just a research phase program. And then you've got the cost of living is so much less than a lot of the country here. And speaking to that, it's a beautiful area where you've got tons of recreation, mountains all around us, lakes, streams, rivers, lots of things to do, a lot of skiing, world-class skiing. And so people are already coming to Utah. Utah's been around for a long time on the maps that way, but coming out of that, you've got a number of companies that have set up shop here. We've got Adobe has a large branch here. You've got Microsoft has branches here. Other companies that see the value in having, access to the Midwest here, but at the same time, cost of living and cost of running these facilities is a lot less. And so it really just facilitates growing this type of tech hub. The civic leaders in the area, with Salt Lake City especially and Provo, are really into the idea of, hey, let's be innovative. Let's support this innovation. So they put on programs and have get-togethers and meetups and all these things just so that, companies like ours can get off the ground and get a feel for what's actually out there. How do you actually execute on your ideas?
Fantastic. Yeah, beautiful area, low crime rates, low cost of living, strong job markets, and lots of tech innovation. So that's a good combination. Talk to us about, kind of the sales and marketing side of the business now. You just said that you're on a $20 million annual run rate. That's a huge number. You guys sell directly to consumers offline or online, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
So what do you guys do for marketing? What's been the most successful channel for you?
So I think, speaking to any of the companies listening as well, really you have to find who are the thought leaders and who are those influencers for your tech, for your area of expertise that are going to get out. Initially, we looked at a lot, hey, if we can get pediatricians to get behind this, then we'll be golden. They'll tell all their patients, all people with kids have to go to pediatricians. And it turned out that while patients respect their pediatrician's opinion, there's a lot on the medical side alone of how do you get this approved to have pediatricians talk about it. But really it turned out to be initially mommy bloggers and affiliates that way that have massive followings. And it's surprising how big their followings are, but that very successfully talk about their lifestyle, talk about the products they use, talk about what they're doing, and share it with others, and then other people pick up and do the same thing. So we started with that, obviously going through the traditional marketing means, pay-per-click, things like that, improved web searches. But then our PR side as well has done a fantastic job. Like you mentioned, baby and pets are two things that people are willing to spend money on.
Yep,
and so
sure.
it kind of flows naturally that people are in this area. There's a lot of trade shows dedicated to things like this. ABC Kids Show, you've got JPMA, big organizations that see the value in what can be had for kids and then support it and do a lot of marketing and advertising themselves. And a lot of people are just excited about cool new tech for kids. And so there's the cool new tech side. There's also the kids side that already existed. And And those things all kind of just play together to really get the message out there.
Do you have a feel for when is the ideal time to reach the mother? Is it before she has the baby or after she has the baby?
Definitely before. I mean,
Okay.
after people have a baby, we have a lot of people that buy it after they have their baby because they realize, hey, sleepless nights are not fun. I'm going through that right now myself. And so they see, okay, there's this product out there. They start looking for things, but really, we've been targeting moms prior to having their baby and let them know, like, hey, when you're ready for this is the new thing to have on your registry list. We've done a lot of great collaboration with the Bump and other groups like that
for like the cater to baby showers and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Cater to baby showers, cater to celebrity moms, cater to all these things, and so people are looking at that space, and I think that's one of the fun things just prior to having a baby is you get to start looking at, hey, what are all the fun and the cute and the cool things that I can do and that I can build out that I can get to be ready for this, and it's kind of a big process, and so reaching out prior to it just works out great.
Now, how do you guys work with influencers? I mean, do you typically give them a code that they can mention in a post, where they get paid a little bit, a 5, 10, 15% revenue fee, or, do you use like an Instagram influencer? What have you guys tried on that side?
So we now have an internal social media team. We had an external third-party social media teams, Instagram, all those things that we used prior, that really help drive that side of things. Bringing it internal, I think, gives us just the ability to really spend the time on just our customers, on the people that we care about or looking at. As far as affiliates and other influencers, yeah, we've for a long time had those programs in place where they had codes and they could get discounts on their website to their readers. We've been going through and changing that to a degree just because we're looking at some different revenue and retail channels this next year. And for some of those, there's a lot of map pricing and things in place. And so we have to really control, okay, where are discounts, where are they coming from? But those types of things got us off the ground, definitely. Got us to where we are with this year's run rate.
Awesome. What are some of the retail stores that you guys are targeting?
I mean, there's a lot of baby stores, and I won't mention specifically any of the ones that we're potentially going to just this next year. But I mean, you've got Bye Bye Baby, Babies R Us, Target. You've got Giggle, a lot of baby boutiques that are kind of chains now going around the country, and you've got Amazon Baby online as well. And so all of these are great stores to be in if you have a baby product, no matter what that baby product is. And so those are things that we're looking at, and we're going to, go through the list in our order and march through those.
Awesome. What's been the biggest challenge for you guys so far, you think? I mean, I'm sure there's been a lot, any entrepreneur, especially a company that has to build, like I said, the software, the hardware, the app. But what stands out is kind of like, holy, you just get a lot of sleepless nights.
Yeah. 2 or 3 things come to mind I'll touch on really quickly. One is not only did we have to build the hardware and the software and the firmware and the app and all the connectivity and all of that, the user experience, all of that. And we did all that for the most part in-house. We've used a couple firms that we've worked with, but most of that's been in-house engineering, that we've done our own design. We've got great engineers. But one of the challenges has been the tools to test and the tools to build what we're trying to build didn't exist. And so not only do we have to build the product itself, we actually had to design and test and then build the tools that we use for building the product and for testing the product, for efficiency and accuracy and all those things. And so that's been, I think, in some ways difficult, but at the same time has been really exciting because there's never a dull moment. We're always having to be innovative somewhere. We're always having to tweak and design and build something, whether it's on the product itself or in the products that we've built to help support the product itself. Going off that is probably the second pain point that we really ran into, I think, a lot was manufacturing. And so because those tools did not exist, it was difficult at first to really get this to a point where we could manufacture it at scale and at reasonable cost and high quality. just because nobody's done anything like this before. I mean, we're taking pulse oximeter, accelerometer, the wireless, the battery power, the memory storage, all of that normally is 100 times the size, and shrinking it down to 1/100th the size, so it fits on top of an infant's foot with flexible electronics. We're using rigid and flex PCB in our process, as well as you've got the fabric side of things. And so building a product for fabric and textiles is a very different story than building a hardware product, and just meshing all of those together. Couldn't find manufacturing initially that could really do that for us in the way that we needed to grow. And so that's where we ended up building a lot of our own tools and a lot of our own processes, and then taking those back to really refine manufacturers. And now we've got it set up very nicely to where we're able to grow at scale and do a good job and have really low attrition rates with product failure in manufacturing. But that was a very, very difficult thing.
Those sound like some daunting tasks.
Yeah. A lot of time, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of all-nighters. And like I said, we have a fantastic team that's just rallied around this. And we had a core team of around 20 for a long time. About a year ago, we were around 27. And so growing to close to 100 people has been in really this last year. And so that core team is what really has carried us. And then all the new people we've added in, great talent that are very successful in their careers and know what they're doing already, just bring a level of expertise and carry it that much farther, let us grow at scale.
I mean, the first few hires are probably always the most important. I mean, certainly, hires farther out can add a lot of value, but if you don't get those first few right, I mean, the company is, at risk. So who are the first few positions that you guys hired for after the founders? Mostly
heads of
engineering.
Yeah. Yep. All of our heads of engineering that really everyone was a functional leader. They had an area they were over, but really everyone was diving headlong into the problems and all the hardware and software and what we're doing, and taking what they had learned from their degrees in electrical engineering, applying that to hardware, and then applying that to software and learning processing and signal processing and all these things on the side that they hadn't necessarily learned through their initial educations or careers. And so I think having a team that saw the vision, but then really felt the culture as well, wanted to be part of this culture, a culture where we care about our customers more than anything. And for every regulation, for every standard that there is for baby products and for products in this area, we have our own internal standard that far exceeds that. And for us, anytime it gets close to our own internal standard dropping because of manufacturing issues, whatever it might be, it's all hands on deck, making sure we can get back up to our standards, because we realize there's nothing more precious than your child, taking care of your child. And so those key hires initially, they all saw that vision. They all saw the need for that. And I think they fit really well into that culture and that desire. And that's where it carried them through, all these difficulties, because they saw the mission of what they were doing. And then since then, we were able to keep that culture and build that culture and find other people that were like-minded and excited about something in this space and making a difference in the life of a child and the life of a parent. And so you're absolutely right about, later hires are very important. You can get some key people there, and we have. And we brought on a fantastic president that's helping run a lot of the company now, who's a rock star. Joe Atkins, done a lot with other companies that he's founded and run. Great people in operations and marketing and sales and our product side now as well, that have a lot of expertise that you really can't get unless you pursue that and pursue excellence in your field for years. So while we had the passion and we had, I think this great sense of being naive to where like, hey, this has never been done, but of course we can do it. Now we've got people behind us that really know what they're doing and helping project it forward.
And I'm assuming most of those early employees all got some stock in the company.
We definitely have stock option plans with our employees. We want to make sure everyone feels like an owner, feels like they're a participant in the whole aspect inside of it. Yeah.
So even employees that join, this late are still getting a little stock.
Yep, they get stock options, and we have vesting schedules in for everyone. That's just one of the things that early on we learned about and wanted to make sure that we got quality people that wanted to be around and that had incentive to stay around.
Right, absolutely. What do you guys normally do for a vesting schedule? 3, 4, 5 years?
Initially for us, it was 4 years as founders and as the first people we brought on. And I think we're staying something pretty close to that right now as well.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. So what's next for the company? I mean, you guys obviously are, very successful with this current product. Is there another product coming down the pipeline?
Yeah, there's a couple different things. So we have different and improved versions of this product that are coming down the pipeline that we're excited to build out over the next few years, and really improve the technology and do things that couldn't be done today. We have software add-on products that we're excited about, a connected care platform that's really going to allow parents to gain a lot more insight and just cool things about their infants and be able to share information with their doctors and a lot of predictable things that we can put in there as well that we're coming out with, as well as we decided early on that we were really interested in the infant space, both prior to birth, with birth, and then as the child grows into, a toddler. And so we have currently products that we have within our innovation team for those spaces as well that are being developed.
Awesome. So I was on the website earlier today, kind of doing some research and due diligence on the company, and I clicked on the buy now button, and it looks like you guys sell the baby monitor for about $250, which to me sounds like a very fair price. But I also noticed that you guys use Affirm, right, which provides kind of like 0% financing for 3, 6, 9 months. I know they've raised hundreds of millions of dollars by Max. One of the co-founders also co-founded PayPal. I haven't had a chance to ask anybody this, but what, when you guys added Affirm to your, kind of checkout process, did that help with conversions? Like, did that help your purchase rate with customers?
Definitely. I mean, our goal in pricing from the beginning was, hey, let's do this in a way to where A, we can exist as a company, but B, we want to make sure that we can get this to every parent in the world that wants it. And so we did a lot of price testing and worked on our pricing a lot. And we're going from existing market of pulse oximeter. If someone has to bring a hospital pulse oximeter home, that's thousands of dollars. Insurance often won't cover that. And then they have hundreds of dollars a month in disposable leads and parts that, fail, and they have to replace them with new ones. And so we're going from that cost down to, $250. And then we wanted to see, okay, how can we make this available to everyone? So Affirm was just a great natural fit. Say, hey, you know what? If you're a young parent like me and don't necessarily have a lot of funds, you can still get this for $20-$30 a month, and get the peace of mind that you want and be able to take care of the child the way you want.
Right. Absolutely. No, that's great. I mean, I'm glad they're there to help out those people that, see the value in the product, but can't afford to plunk down $250 all at once. So, and then is with the product, is there any sort of like ongoing, monthly fee or subscription service that they have to purchase as well?
Nope. Currently there's not. They get the product, and it's even if they don't have a smartphone or internet in their home, it is a standalone monitor. So you have the sock and the base station. The base station will alert you and give updates through colors and sounds of what's going on. And so that can be a standalone monitor. Or if you do have a smartphone, and like most Americans do and others in the world, as well as internet capability, then you have all the information sent to your phone as well and the alerts there. We do have, like I said, future software type add-on products, the connected care platform that we're looking at that would be subscription model based. But yeah, we're not going to change the fact that we want to let everyone, get this as cost effective as possible and be able to afford it.
Awesome. So my brother is actually an OBGYN. So
That's great.
How do parents share the data with their doctors?
So currently, there's not a lot of ways they can share that data with their doctors. Again, just having launched only in the last year, we really focused on getting the minimal viable product out there to where we could be very, very successful at being accurate, at getting good reads, at not over-alerting parents with anything. And so that was the focus this last year. That connected care platform that we're looking at launching, that's really where you can start diving into sharing the information in a meaningful and understandable way, both with the parent as well as with the pediatrician. We've actually been working with a number of kids' hospitals and other institutes around the country for infant research that are very, very excited about this. And so we're looking at, future options within the medical space for telemedicine or other things where doctors potentially can remotely monitor someone without having to have that child stay in a facility.
That's pretty cool. Right. Yeah, this is definitely something I'm going to mention to my brother. I'm sure, I don't know how savvy doctors are with up and coming technology. Something tells me that they're not, that someone kind of has to put it in front of them before they kind of catch on to it. But, just sounds like you guys are working on some pretty cool stuff that any OBGYN, would appreciate. That data is super valuable to saving lives. So.
Yeah. And the great thing about doctors is, they're very good at being skeptical. And I mean that in a very positive way, that they're trained to really question and want to make sure that whatever they're supporting or promoting actually is what they say it is and does what they say it does. And so definitely barrier to entry there. But at the same time, there are a lot of physicians and doctors across the country and nurses especially and caregivers that recognize, the need for this kind of technology and to be able to do these kind of things. The whole healthcare system is shifting towards, outcome-driven care, to where it's not so much about the number of times you're there or what procedures are done, but is the outcome reached for that person's health, and how can we improve the cost effectiveness of that outcome being reached, as well as the care for that patient, as well as home health care. That's another large play that's starting to come out. And so all of those kind of align to say, hey, this type of technology that you might have been a little bit more skeptical about 3 or 4 years ago, it's not going to go away. You're going to continue to have technology that's developed in the consumer space that then merges and marches into a medical space, obviously going through all the right regulations and all the right channels. But it's really going to improve the healthcare and the wellness of our country.
Right. Has anyone tried to buy you guys yet?
Early on, we had people that were interested, but we had decided that we're passionate about what we're doing, and we really have no intent of just turning around and selling the company. We want to grow it and keep the mission going and get to every child that we can, every parent that we can. And so the great thing with our investors is they're on board with our strategy. They're parents themselves. They see the value here, so they're excited about it. And so it's been great that we don't have to make difficult decisions that are between what we feel is doing the right mission, and what they feel is the most profitable thing. Those are very, very aligned to where, they say, hey, even if it takes a little bit longer to get the profitability wherever it might be, let's do it right. Let's make sure that we meet our mission, that we meet our goals, and that we serve our customers. Because ultimately, you build a much, much more sustainable and better company that has a lot more value for the investors as well.
Right. I mean, because it's clear that you guys have created a significant barrier of entry, because it's 3 years of development and testing, or at least close to it. It's not like anybody else can just go out and kind of replicate what you guys have done in a short period of time, because they'd have to do their own development and testing, which is significant. So, I mean, that's a lot of that.
And it's just like you said, it seems simple enough, like, hey, slap something on a baby's foot and get some reads. But
not when you're playing around with lives, no.
It's amazing how complex it is, especially when you get into, hey, we want to make sure that this actually does what it says it does, that it's accurate, regardless of the fact that, all babies' feet come in different shapes and sizes, and baby's foot grows 4 times its size in the first year, so you have to have a product that works on their foot quadrupling in that first year, and a lot of factors that go into it that really make it difficult. And so we've done our best to really try to make it the best product possible to meet those needs.
Awesome. You have so many. I mean, I want to, we'll wrap this up in a couple minutes. Just so many questions I want to ask you. I think you guys are doing some really awesome stuff. You have so many great investors. I see Amazon Alexa is kind of one of the investors here. Now it says Amazon Alexa Fund. Is that a separate fund, separate from the company, or I'm sure it's controlled by Amazon, but how does that fund work? Are they essentially investing in other kind of, IoT companies?
As far as I know, they're investing in things that can play nicely with Alexa and fit into that scheme of things. So I'm not sure. To be honest, I can't tell you anything about who else they might be investing in or what other IoT type companies, but we just saw a great fit there. And so they were in this most recent round, to where you've got connected baby care now. You've got really, really easy connected smart home. And so mash the two together.
Just talk real quick. I know you're a big fan of Tom Shoes. One of their co-founders, Blake Mykoski, is also an investor in your company. So want to just mention that real quick?
Yeah. So in doing a lot of the different programs that we've gone through and the support and the competitions and things, we found that there's a great movement along with entrepreneurship right now in the U.S., and that's social innovation. That's having for-profit businesses that can sustain themselves, that can also do a lot of good in the world. And Tom's, I think, been one of the leaders in that area. And so super excited to work with them just because they've done this before. They've gone out there and they've had the impact and seen the impact and made an impact on the lives of others. And we want to do the same thing, both in the fact that our product is, helping improve lives, but also, like Tom's, there's a lot of need throughout the world. Pulse oximetry is in the top 4 needed technologies throughout the world that they don't have access to in third world countries and other places. They don't have the infrastructure to support it. If they've got power surges, things like that, they burn out the units they get donated. The units cost, thousands of dollars, very expensive to maintain and to keep. And so you find a simple, cheap solution like what we have that can work with just local area networks and work with smartphones, where that is one of the technologies we're finding a lot of the world has, is they might not have these big fancy computers and all the databases and things, but they do have smartphones. And they do have access to the internet. So being able to play into that and to be able to support those kind of communities in the future and really improve healthcare throughout the world has been a long, long time goal of ours. And I think Tom's is just a great fit for, trying to reach out and help people throughout the world as well.
That's exciting. Yeah, I wish you guys the best there. And then kind of last thing, I want to give you a chance to talk about this as well. Just I think it's extremely impressive. You guys were able to secure a $1.5 million grant from the National Institute of Health. Talk to us about that, because that's a huge number for any startup.
Yeah. So our product is unique in that it's fitting into several different categories. Not intentionally. We set out to really just solve a simple pain point and help parents in their home. Ended up, having Internet of Things device, which was a big buzzword, having home health care, which is a big buzzword, having big data, which is a big buzzword, and all these things kind of coalescing and coming together. We had groups with the National Institutes of Health reach out to us and say, hey, we've been watching, we see your company, you're doing things that match what these grants are intended for, further developing wireless pulse oximetry, further developing this type of technology for use to improve, like I said, home health care and improve health care. And so that just was a great and natural fit that, thankfully for us, just kind of fell into our laps almost, where we were staying on the consumer side of things, even though there's always the medical play, working with the doctors, with the facilities. But we weren't actively out there just trying to get grants and do those things. And so that's been a great blessing and an opportunity for us to really show and see that professionals around the country, medical researcher, all of them, they care about these types of things. Infant health is vastly misunderstood, and there's not a lot of data on it. And so we're creating and have created the largest data set of infant health that's ever existed. In one night, we collect more data per child than a year's worth of, pediatrician visits. Every night we're collecting 700, 800 million heartbeats, along with a lot of other biometrics that go along with that. And so you can start seeing the patterns. And so working with these researchers, they can see that, hey, we can actually understand infant health in general better. We can understand infant illness better. We can understand how to improve infant care and catch things earlier and be predictive and be able to tell if someone's having certain issues happening, be able to solve those before they become serious, and then not only serious for that infant and for the baby, but also a serious burden on the healthcare system. And so just a natural fit to be able to do that, and we're very grateful and excited to be able to work with them.
Well, congrats. And that 1.5 million, I'm sure, is going to help a lot of babies. Kind of last question here. If you could be mentored by any entrepreneur or any CEO, who would it be?
Oh, me personally?
Yeah.
So I've had the opportunity to meet and spend a little time with Clayton Christensen.
Okay. From Harvard, right?
Yeah. And I think he is one that, for me personally, I love the way he's led his life and what he's done in his life, standing true to the things he believes in, as well as just being extremely innovative and on the cutting edge of disruption and understanding, how, me personally, and spending time with him and talking with him, that's actually driven a lot of the decisions and the things that I've made and looked at through testing and through different areas is what is the job to be done? That's one of the great points he brings up is not what do you think the consumer wants, what do you think the user needs, what is the actual job that's trying to get done by what you're providing? And if you can understand that and really get down to the root of that, you can get down to, hey, we're doing something in a way that consumers might not even be able to voice. They're not even aware of the fact that this is what they're actually trying to accomplish. They're just aware of a pain point or they're aware of this. And so that really helps drive and move you forward when you can tell what needs to be done and then do that. And so he's been, I think, for me, an inspiration, and would love him as a mentor. So.
Cool. Great stuff. I've read I haven't read his book, but I've read many posts from him, and I know he's done a ton of stuff in the business world, tons of consulting and whatnot. So very well-respected guy from the Boston area. Well, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate your time today. I'll let you get back to your busy afternoon. Kudos to everything you guys are doing with Owlet, and certainly how can we find you? How can we learn more about the company?
Yeah, you can either just visit our website, owletcare.com, owletcare.com, or honestly, for any companies that are interested or have questions, like send me an email, jake@owletcare.com. I'm happy to help in any way I can.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, man. Really appreciate this. We'll get it posted in the next couple of days, and want to wish you. I assume this is a busy time of year, right? Christmas for you guys.
I think for everyone, Christmas is a busy time of year, but yeah, definitely for us as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon, man.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
You got it.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.